Hey, are you buying an income property? How do you know whether it's a good deal, an okay deal, or if you're overpaying? Well, guess what? We're going to show you in the upcoming video.
Stay tuned. I'm Mel.
And I'm Dave.
And we're the Investor Couple. On this channel, we teach regular people just like you the secrets to time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom through real estate investing.
We post new content every week, so make sure to subscribe. So
how do you determine how much you should be paying for a property?
There's so many different variables to consider, and we're going to be going through that in this video today. Now, the purchase price is very important because that is your baseline. If you want to renovate and refinance or sell, that purchase price is going to be your starting line and is going to determine how much money you're going to make in the future.
Let's make sure we set you up for success when you're buying your properties.
But I don't want to wait. I just want to buy an income property now. They're listed all over the internet. They must all make money. They must all make sense. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listed, right?
Cap rates. The higher, the better.
Now let's break down how you get your capitalization rate. The cap rate is calculated by using the net operating income. The NOI comes from taking your income minus your expenses, which leaves you with your net operating income NOI. Now, keep in mind, this will not include the mortgage or any debt you have on the property. It's strictly the income minus the expenses such as utilities and anything that any owner will have, but not including the mortgage.
Now that you have your NOI, take that and divide it by your purchase price. That will give you your capitalization rate.
But wait, not all net operating incomes are created equally. Some people will calculate them without management, without vacancy, or without maintenance. So you choose which you want to have included in your NOI. I know we choose to have all three of those when we calculate it. That way we get a true, real picture of what the building is doing financially.
Although cap rates is a great tool, you gotta make sure not to make the mistakes that a lot of investors make and have tunnel vision. You gotta dig a little bit deeper than that.
This should be a number that you utilize as a preliminary step. Now, what I mean by that is it's just one piece to the puzzle. There's gonna be other things you look at, but this is a great tool when you're looking at a lot of deals quickly. You can look at the cap rate and say, yep, that meets my criteria, or next.
Enough about cap rates, let's move on.
Mel, why do appraisers always have a wasp in their hand?
I don't know why, Dave.
Because value is in the eye of the beholder.
Comps. What is comps? You're gonna hear this all the time. It's comparables. So what you wanna do, you wanna compare apples to apples or oranges to oranges.
Lots of things to consider when looking at comparables. First off, the area. One building that is exactly the same situated in one area of the city can be evaluated completely different from the same building somewhere else. So obviously, this will play on the evaluation of the building. So knowing the market and understanding where you might have higher value or lower value some places can help you assess the comps.
When comparing buildings, you want to make sure that you're also comparing the number of bedrooms in each one. So for example, if you have one building over here and there's three one-bedroom units, and in this one you have three bedrooms, which one do you think is going to give you more cash flow?
Understanding that more bedrooms means more rent, and it can be the exact same building, but the one that has the more bedrooms will demand more rent.
Yes, so make sure to do your research and find out accordingly. Ask your agent to pull up comparables. They'll be able to pull what's been sold so you can make an educated choice.
They'll be able to see when was the last time the property changed hands, what it sold for, and other things such as this.
Speaking of comparing, this is nothing compared to this next tip.
Mel, you should really count yourself lucky.
Why?
Because I did a lot of comparing and you're the one that got the ring.
Do you buy high, do you buy low, or do you buy right now?
As an investor, you should understand this, and you should be looking at buying real estate in any environment. Now, I know you might think, Dave, why would I buy high? Shouldn't I always buy low? Shouldn't I always be when the prices are rock bottom? Yes, most of the time you want to do that. However, you always want to be buying real estate.
So if the market is hot right now, should I just hold off to buy?
No, you buy now knowing that the market is high and you make sure to purchase the right building.
Yes, you want to keep buying right now, and guess what? When it's in a low, you're going to keep buying as well.
Truly knowing where the market is right now will help you make long-term decisions. Just like Mel said, if it's high, you can still buy knowing that it might decrease in a year or two, but that the next 25 years, it will overall increase. And then knowing that you're in the lower market, you're gonna wanna buy a lot more because the prices are so low. But there is a place in every market cycle to buy real estate. Do not get caught up on this, just understand where you're at in the market and forecast where you want to be.
The only exception to this would be if you are flipping. If you're flipping, you have to really be careful that you're not buying at a really high point because you may not get your money out of it. Speaking of flipping, let's flip on to the next tip.
Do you know what a house wears?
What, Dave?
A dress.
The 1% rule. So what is the 1% rule? Well, you take your asking price, times that by 1%, and your rent should be more, or at least the same, if not more of that amount. So let's take, for example, you purchase, let's keep it very simple, a property for $100,000. Times that, times 1%, equals $1,000, which means that your rent should be at the very minimum $1,000 per month.
So Mel, you're bang on with that. Now, understand that there is a little bit of give and take here. Let's say your rents are $950 and the 1% rule was $1,000. Are you just going to throw away that deal? No. Rule of thumb with the 1% rule. You can also dial it back just a little. So in Mel's example, 1% of $100,000 asking price is $1,000 a month, okay? We also like to do the 0.75% rule. Now that being said, in that example, it would be $750. So that's kind of like your bare minimum benchmark. And if something is below then, don't even look at it. So keeping in mind the 1%, you have your bottom line of 0.75% that can show you, what's the lowest it can go. But the 1% rule is the general rule of thumb.
Why would anybody go below the 1% rule? Well, if you're like us, we love buying underperforming properties. So keeping at that 0.75% rules enables us to identify those underperforming properties so we can really lift the appreciation while staying within those ratios.
Anything below the 0.75% might be too far gone and will not respect the ratios that your institutions are looking for. Now, these are only our guidelines. You need to truly come up with numbers that will work for you and the area you're looking to invest in.
This is just a really quick way to analyze deals.
Hey, I wasn't a great student in school, but anyone can count 1% of something, right?
Cash flow is king when purchasing. You want to make sure that you're cash flowing from day one when purchasing your property.
Example of this is determining the purchase price. Let's say you're looking at a building and there's a certain purchase price. You calculate your numbers, you see how much cash flow you're going to make every month, and you're negative, let's throw out examples here, a couple $1,000s a month. Well, that purchase price might be a little too high if you can't even cash flow on the building. So utilizing the cash flow that you make from the income producing asset will help you determine if that purchase price makes sense for you or if you need to move on to the next one.
This is a business decision. You absolutely have to ensure that you cash flow from day one.
Not all cash flow is created equally. What I mean by this is you might have a cash flow that is acceptable to you each month. Someone else might have a cash flow that they find acceptable. So the determination of cash flow is truly what you think your time is worth, how much effort you need to put into it, and what you want to see in your pockets at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Cash flow and return on your time as well.
Mel, do you know who the best detective is in the real estate industry?
Who, Dave?
Sherlock Holmes.
If you're a serious real estate investor who truly wants to grow their portfolio, make sure to check out more of our videos. I'm Mel.
And I'm Dave, and we'll see you in the next video.